Hello everyone. Celia would like to introduce you to Dun Willie, who prefers to be known as Howard D. William. I think we can all understand why. Good morning to you, Celia. How was your night? Asked our man with the unfortunate affliction. Good afternoon, Howcard, said Celia. I'm fine, thanks. How is your day going? He asked. Very well, thanks. I just got home from work, she said, and I have to say, this contact was given to me by a fellow scam baiter. But I think this is probably a team of scammers, because the conversation I had with him was very different from the one that she had. That's okay, he said. How was your day at the office? Yes, it's good, said Celia. It was busy. Sorry about that, he said. What's your job? You know, the old scammer obsession. Can't have anyone actually working hard. What are you sorry about? Asked Celia. I'm an administrator. I work in the admissions department of Durham University. That's okay, he said. What's okay? Asked Celia. I can only imagine how busy you must be. What do you do? Asked Celia. Well, I work with the US Army. Doing what? Asked Celia. I'm a general in the US Army, and obviously we all know that generals don't actually do anything, so they think everyone else is very busy. Sounds very important, said Celia. Yes, it is. How long have you been a general? She asked. I'm in Sudan at the moment for a peacekeeping mission. 12 years. I've been in the army for 25 years. I don't know much about Sudan, said Celia. What problems do they have there? A civil war, he said. We're trying to make things better. I hope you're making a difference, she replied. Yes, we're. Are you on Goggle Chat? So she gave him her email, and of course they moved to Goggle Chat. And over on Goggle Chat, our man changed his name, as they often do, to Dunkel William. Hello, he said. Wow! Nice that you're about to come up. Meaning? Asked Celia. Oh, nothing. I'm so happy that you're able to chat with me here. So, tell me more about yourself. Are you married? Got kids? I'm a widow, said Celia, with a grown-up son. He lives in Sydney in Australia. Oh, sorry about that, he said. How old is he? Dan's 30, said Celia. And how old are you? He asked. I'm 55. How old are you? Wow! That's nice. I'm 62. How long have you been a widow? I've been a widower for 6 years now, and I have one daughter. How old is she? Asked Celia. 12? Going to 13? Oh, said Celia, I thought you might be a grandfather by now. How long have you been a widow? He asked. LOL. 5 years, said Celia. Why is that funny? My husband was a lot older than me, and he was a lovely man. I'm still strong, he said. Pleased to hear it, replied Celia. I have no idea why you said that. Oh, how old was he? He asked. He was 72 when he passed away, said Celia. How old was your wife? You say that I may be a grandfather, he said, which presumably was in reply to Celia asking what was funny. Yes, she said. She was 56, he said. His wife, remember, who died 6 years ago, when their daughter would have been 6 years old. So, do you live alone? Of course I do, said Celia. Wow! You own your own house? Wow! How on earth is that any of your business? Said Celia. Do you own your own house? Is this your first time use Google Chat? He asked. You know, all those phishing questions that the scammers use. Exactly the kind of conversation you have with somebody you're genuinely interested in. What did you ask me on Facebook? Said Celia. And you haven't answered my question. Do you own your own house? Yes, I do. Wow! That's good, said Celia. What about you? He said. Hope things can really work out between us. Tell me about yourself. Maybe I should go first. Yes, said Celia. Go ahead. And so he did. I grew up in a wealthy background. My father served in the army, his father too, and sadly he is late now with my mother. We were just two boys growing up, and we had all we wanted, a big house, lots of workers at home. I don't know what country he thought he grew up in. I lost my brother. He went to Syria. They brought back his dead body. I get emotional whenever I think of him. I was never really close to my mother, but she was a good woman and always travelling. But I also lost her many years ago from cancer. That's very sad, said Celia, but you need to move on. You're 62, not 12. Yes, I know she misspelt your. To be honest, I just feel really empty in the world most times, and that is why I stayed this long in the army, and presumably abandoned your daughter, said Celia, turning into Celia. Yes, he said. That's a horrible thing to do. I know, he said, but she understand. Now over to you. Don't talk utter drivel, said Celia. You're a cruel, heartless, self-pitying, self-centred excuse for a man. No, don't say that. By your own admission you had everything when you were growing up, but you abandoned your own daughter. I just did say that, because it's true. You're a pathetic excuse for a human. She's with my nanny at home, and I do miss her. A lot. I don't believe you, said Celia. Do you know hard it have been for me over this year? Apparently so hard you abandoned her and swanned off to wherever it is you are, said Celia. Just to come home to her once, he said. I could never have left my Dan when he was a child. Because of her, he said, I'll soon have retirement. I do miss her every day. I should hope so, said Celia. But sometime we do talk. She ever mail me 3 day back to check on me, and she say a pray for me also. Answers on a postcard, if you can tell me what any of that meant. We talk visa email to email. Are you busy? I was making a cup of tea, said Celia. What's visa email? Is it like a credit card? What's the time over there, he asked. 7 p.m, said Celia. OK. And then another of those scammer questions from that old scammer list. So, have you dated online before? Before what? Asked Celia. Have you dated any military online before? Before what? Asked Celia. Have you dated anyone online? He tried again. No, said Celia. I couldn't date someone I can't meet. Really? He asked. All together, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Really? OK, he said. I need to go on, guess what? Patrol now. OK, said Celia. Stay safe. I'll text you once I'm back. I'm back, he announced 4 hours later. Because anything can happen in the next minute. To be honest, serving in the military is like a decorated prison and doesn't actually give us all the access. And we are restricted to so many things like, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, our finances and how we communicate to the outside world at the camp. I consider myself a very easygoing person, even-tempered. I love to go for long walks during a beautiful summer sunset with someone special along the wonderful walking trails by my home, going for walks during a gentle snowfall in the winter and walks during a crisp and sunny autumn day. I love to cook, and a perfect evening would be to decide on a wonderful menu and cook together while enjoying a fine glass of red wine and great music. I enjoy many types of music, from easy listening, jazz, to classical. You should never say that to Celia. To country western, especially Ian Tyson, and got wide range of taste for movies, adventure, drama, sci-fi, romance. What about you? Well, I think we all have bad past. We have a lot to get off the past and face the future. Thinking about the past just keep us depressed. Hi, beautiful. How's your morning going? He said the next day. I hope you woke up with a smile brighter than the stars and a heart filled with hope like the morning sun. You deserve everything good in life and more. Guess what? I love you. Good evening, said Celia a bit later. I just got home from work. That's OK. How was work? It was one of those days where I spent a lot of time on meetings, said Celia. Next year's students have started applying, so we have to juggle places between colleges and departments. Oh, OK. I understand, he said. We both have similar jobs. I'm always busy as well. Do we? Asked Celia. Well, we both go through a lot of stress every day. That old scammer obsession. Stress. I work really hard out here. I'm sure the same goes for you. I can't see any immediate similarities between working in an office in a university and working as a soldier on a peacekeeping mission, said Celia. Well, it's OK. So, can you tell me the nature of your job? I already told you what I do, said Celia. Well, thought you'd share details with me, he said. So how's the weather today? You know, if in doubt, stick a pointless question in the middle of a proper conversation. She'll never notice. OK, said Celia. The university has lots of colleges and teaching departments, and we admit students from within the UK and around the world. Each department wants a specific number of students each year, and so does each college. We try to make sure the students are evenly spread around the colleges. We spend a lot of time dealing with funding applications for students and advising overseas students of visa requirements and helping everyone who can't live in college to find accommodation. Sounds interesting, but guess what? Stressful, he said. I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork involved in that. We have around 20,000 undergraduate and postgraduate students, said Celia. Everyone needs to live somewhere, and everyone needs to pay their fees. Very little paperwork these days. We do it all online. That's a lot of students, he says. Sounds interesting. Technology has helped a lot. So what's the time over there? Are you obsessed with stress? Said Celia. You keep talking about it. No, I'm not. So, guess what? What are your hobbies? Yogic chair dancing and underwater watercolour painting, said Celia. What are yours? Well, I love soccer, fishing, camping, painting, reading, praying and meditating. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I see earlier you said you like classical music. What kind of classical music do you like? She asked. Symphonic, he said. We'll give him plus points for that. How about you? What kind of music do you listen to? I love all kinds of classical music, said Celia, especially choral music. Here we go. Who's your favourite composer? Our man, as you can see, went off and Googled. Took him 3 minutes. I love Wolfgang and Ludwig. How about you? I'm sure a lot of you can work out who he was referring to there. Wolfgang and Ludwig, said Celia. Sounds like a double act on YouTube. Yeah, they're different composers, he said. Who's your favourite? I like Dvorak and Brahms, said Celia. That's nice, he said. And then, hoping he might be on safer ground, and all together, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what he's going to say. Have you eaten? Do you just like inserting silly questions into conversations, said Celia. Tell me about Wolfgang and Ludwig. I'll do that later, he said. I don't have much time now. I'll be leaving for patrol soon. Oh, yes, patrol, replied Celia. Always good when the going gets tough. The tough get going. But our man didn't get going, because apparently he managed to access Google. Google, or presumably Wikipedia, I haven't actually looked, informed him, and I won't read you the whole of it, that Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 27th of January 1756 to 5th of December 1791, and it goes on to tell you about Mozart, saying amongst other things that Mozart showed prodigious ability from his earliest childhood, and while visiting Vienna, Mozart was dismissed from his Salzburg position. Mr. Ludwig van, he apparently forgot to mention. A bit about Wolfgang, he finished. Ah, said Celia, Google to the rescue. And you seriously think he's widely known as Wolfgang, do you? Our man thought about that for 30 seconds. That's what we call him in the US, he said. Yeah, right, said Celia. What do you call him in the UK, he asked, hoping that he might glean some information for future reference. Grow up and go on patrol, said Celia. I don't understand, he said. No, said Celia. Google will help you. Whoever heard of Wolfgang's Requiem? Read that article you copied and pasted, and you'll understand. To which our man replied, What's it about? Exactly, said Celia. You copied and pasted it. I suggest you read it. That's okay, he said. Or can't you read? She asked. What do you enjoy talking about? He said, hoping to change the subject. How stupid some of the idiots you meet online are. It's fun talking about why they think it's impressive to claim they like something, classical music for example, that they clearly know nothing about. Sorry about that, he said. We could have an enjoyable conversation where you explain to me why you thought you'd tell me you like classical music. Even more fun would be to tell me how many more of the things you claim to like are just works of fiction. I know. Why don't you tell me what you really do like, instead of writing a made-up list? I love all the things I said, he said. Apart from classical music, which you clearly know nothing about. Try again. I love classical music, he said, but I don't know a lot about it. Bullshit, said Celia. Try again. I'll tell you now, I don't like men who lie because they think it's impressive. It isn't impressive, and it makes you look really stupid. I'm really sorry about that, he said. Yes, so am I, said Celia. So tell me the real things you like, not a made-up list of bullshit that you think sounds impressive. I love movies, soccer, reading, meditating, praying as well, and none of those old scammer standbys. Are you a Christian? OK, said Celia. No, I'm not. What's your religion? He he asked. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Ninth-day de-Adventist. OK, he said. That's cool. Well, I'm a Catholic. Do you have a bucket list? Not really, she said. Do you? Well, I just have one wish, to find love and be happily married, travel round the world with her and be happy. Do you enjoy travel? Asked Celia. Have you been to lots of places? Happiness and peace is all I want after travelling. Iraq, Russia, Somalia, Libya, China, Bahamas, Dubai. Do you love travelling? I do, she said, but I haven't done as much as you. I'm hoping to go to Australia again next year to visit my son. That's nice. I'll love to visit Australia some day with my daughter. So I've been seeing a lot of news about the people protesting about oil. What do you think about it? He asked. You think it's right or wrong? We'd had a lot of protests in the UK at the time. I don't get involved in current affairs, I'm afraid, said Celia. I prefer not to listen to the news. I know a lot of people feel strongly about it. OK, I understand. So, do you have any pets with you at home? It always beats me how these scammers think that all these banal questions they ask are a good way of getting to know someone. Maybe I just live in an alternative universe, I don't know. I have a cat, said Celia. Wow! That's nice. I have cats as well. How many do you have? She asked. And so he sent a photograph of a young girl leaning over the edge of a bath with some cats. It never ceases to upset me how these scammers get their hands on photographs of children. There was nothing inappropriate about that photograph, I can assure you. But it's somebody's child. I have 4 cats, he says. My cats and my daughter. Oh, said Celia. I'm glad you love it. Can I see your cat? If you need to, said Celia. Hang on. OK, he said. And so she sent him a photograph of Sophie, and I'll show it to all of you. That's my little Sophie puss. Beautiful, he said. I have to go now. I'll text you when I get back. Have a nice day, my friend. I'm back. Are you there? Good morning, said Celia. I just arrived at work, but I'm not actually starting for a few minutes yet. OK, he said. You know. How was your night? I have no idea. I was asleep, said Celia. How was your night? I slept well, he said. What are you doing now? You know, another of those old scammer standbys. Standing on the stairs, screaming at an ant, said Celia. What are you doing now? When I'm online, he said. This is what I do. I am responsible for day-to-day activities in regards to answering, gathering information, questions from our higher headquarters, 1st Army Division West, to answering questions, providing answers to 8 battalions. And if you think he copied and pasted that from Google, you're right. I'll show you in a minute. Sounds very important, said Celia, to which our man replied, Yes, it is. Thanks, dear. Although we just got to know each other, you know this one. I'd appreciate us being good friends in sincerity, honesty and trust, to share ideas and discuss about more issues as we more about ourselves. You missed out get to know. And I believe, as time goes on, there may be something great for us in the future. What do you think? Why do you think I would be insincere and dishonest? Asked Celia. I don't know. Just want you to know that without all that friendship is not going to be strong. Do you wish to get married again? If you find the right man of your dream, it's never too late to fall in love again, he said. Before I show you Celia's reply, because if you look at the timestamps on that conversation, you'll see I haven't written it yet. Let's have a look at that sentence that I said I'd Google. I'll paste it into Google, and I'll search for it. And look at this. I am responsible for day-to-day activities in regards to answering blah blah blah. I'm not entirely sure I know what this site is about, but it's a file that somebody's uploaded to somewhere called Course Hero, and look what's in it. Lots of stuff that the scammers use, including that one that we get a lot. The world is wonderfully made. I would like to know about the weather condition over there in your country, and what do you do for a living to overcome economical expenses and to sustain yourself and your family? Presumably, this is somewhere that scammers upload their scripts so they can share them. And at this point I'm thinking, Celia needs to behave herself, because it might be quite interesting to see how this man is going to ask for money. So I promise I'll try, ladies and gentlemen, but you'll find out as we go through the video whether or not I succeed. Celia returned after I'd made that bit of the video. I haven't thought about it, she said. Why? Asked our man. What kind of question is that? Asked Celia. Why haven't you thought about all the things you haven't thought about? Why haven't you thought about the effect modern art has on underwater microclimates? I ask if you will love to get married again, if you find the right man of your dream, he asked again. And I told you, I haven't thought about it, said Celia. OK, he replied. I've been thinking about you since yesterday. We're like a miracle to each other, and I must confess that I really enjoyed our mutual correspondence yesterday, and the way you expressed yourself to me. Fancy that, said Celia. As the padre at our temple would say, miraculous occurrences happeneth when one is least prepared for their coming. Wait for it, ladies and gentlemen. Celia was about to go all Shakespearian, as she is sometimes wont to do. Yes, you're right, he said. I believe we have left the past behind us, and I think all we need to do is to focus on the future, because I believe that the future is more important than the past. Do you think the same? Oh, yes, I doth agree in multitudinous ways, replied Celia. The past should be left to moulder gently where it belongeth most, that is, in the future, that we doth not yet knoweth of. Yes, you're correct, said our man, who didn't understand a word she typed. I understand all that you have told me about yourself, and I promise not to go against your views about life. I have found so much joy in our mutual correspondence. 'Tis such a wondrous thing to converse with a gentleman who understandeth the deeper meanings of life itself, replied Celia, to which our man replied, Yes, it is. I really want us to build a relationship that will lead us to marriage. I will be coming to, guess where, your country, when I retire, so that we can get married, and I promise I will never hurt your heart. And if the person that you're talking to online repeatedly refers to your country, you're talking to a scammer. They're talking to so many people that they simply don't remember where the person they're talking to has told them that they live. Oh, my word! I knoweth not what to thinketh or saith, replied Celia. Shall we wed in Durham Cathedral with a full choir? Yes, sure, if that's what you want. It's okay with me, he said. Oh, yes, I do, said Celia. When do you think you'll be able to come to my country? I don't know yet, but very soon, he said. I want you to promise me that you will not hurt my heart, because I love you so much, and I don't want to be hurt. Oh, no, replied Celia. I cannot make any such promise. 'Tis not for a lady to make. Why? He asked. Dost thou not knoweth when thou is due for retirement? She replied. Most people know exactly when they will retire, because only thou knoweth what will hurteth of thine heart. I do cook with all manner of heart-attack-inducing foods, including cream, cheese, and cakes and puddings of the sticky variety. Oh, my God, said our man. If you give your love to me, I promise I will not hurt your heart. You will be the only woman in my life. I love you very much. Oh, no, said Celia. Do you prefer healthy food? Yes, I do, he said. You'll have to teach me, said Celia. OK, I will, he said. Can you send me your photo? I love view your photo. My photo is on Facebook, she said. Yes, I know, but you can send me one on here too. Oh, no, said Celia. I cannot do that. We have talks every month from the university cybersecurity team, telling us never to send photos online. It's more than my job is worth. They also send us a monthly newsletter with multitudinous warnings and stories of people who did just that and regretted it. Thou art, of course, welcome to call me. OK, I understand, but everything here is just between me and you. And do you believe that I can do such thing to you? As I saith, replied Celia, thou art welcome to video call me. OK, cue the excuses. You know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. We're not allowed to make video or voice calls here in the base, due to the undercovered mission we are here for, and are not expected to disclose our identity to anyone, not even to our family members. Ah, 'tis a crying shame, is it not? Replied Celia. The restrictions that have been heaped upon thee. Do your family members not already know who you are? No, they don't, and I lost all of them, he said. Oh, my word, replied Celia. Who do they think you are? I just have my daughter now. She's my world, he said. But who does she think you are? if she's not allowed to know your true identity? You obviously realise he was confusing identity with location. She's the only one that know my identity, he said. That's wonderful, replied Celia. Because we talk through email, he said. Oh, yes, replied Celia. That explains it. Of course. So, you don't need to worry about your photo, he said. I promise to keep it saved for you. I must return to work post-haste, replied Celia. I have a meeting at midday, and I have explained to thee that we are forbidden from sending of photos online. I shall converse with thee again later. Okay, take care, he said. I've just stopped for a lunch break, she said, a bit later. Okay, how's work going, he said. And what's the time over there? Haven't you learnt the time difference yet? Said Celia. Google it. Really? He said. Altogether, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, really, replied Celia. So you don't know the time where you are, he said. Of course I do, said Celia. So should you by now. You've asked me enough times. So you don't know where I live? To which our man, caught out, replied, Never mind. I can Google your time, look, said Celia. I'm sure you could do the same. And she Googled time in Sudan. Okay, let's talk about trust. Always a fruitful topic, I find, replied Celia. Do you know that without trust, loyalty and respect are a must for eternal happiness? That's what he typed. No matter how much you love someone, if you don't have these ingredients, you will never succeed. Would you like to type that again, so it makes sense? Replied Celia. Or shall I assume you meant what you said? How do you mean by that? He asked. So what type don't make any sense? I'll assume you meant what you said, said Celia, that if there is no trust, then loyalty and respect will be fine instead for eternal happiness. So I'll just respect you and be loyal, but not trust you. Eternal happiness shall be ours. And stop acting like a hurt teenager. You're a mature army general, remember? At least try to behave like one. You got it right, he said. But why don't you trust me? If I start behaving like, I hope you're not going to issue with it. You just told me it isn't necessary, said Celia. And no, I won't have any issue with you behaving like a mature army general. Okay then, he said. Awesome, she replied. Yeah, to be in love means being patient. But to be patient, you must trust your spouse first. You can never find love through the eye or ear, so you must trust the only thing that will never fade until you die, your heart. And now their relationship is about to take a very speedy nosedive. Where did you copy that from? Asked Celia. What do you mean? He asked. What I said, replied Celia. You can barely write a proper sentence, and you've already told me trust isn't necessary. Now you copy and paste that lyrical paragraph. Shall I Google it? What's the mean of all this? So you mean that I can't write or type this? He asked, clearly demonstrating that he could have done neither. We both know you didn't, said Celia. Like I said, shall I Google it? What do you by I copy and paste lyrical? He asked. Or will you be honest and tell me? She said. It seems that you are not in the mood of talking to me. Remember, she replied, we've agreed that trust isn't necessary if there is respect, so respect me and tell me where you copied it from. I can use Google, you know. Without trust isn't necessary? He asked. Cue the apology, replied Celia. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And she copied and pasted one possible source. You can do whatever you feel like, he said. And yes, replied Celia, you clearly said that if there was no trust, then loyalty and respect were what is needed for eternal happiness. So, are you going to apologise? I did tell you I can use Google. Apologise for what? He asked. Lying about copying and pasting. What do you think? Because if you don't even respect me enough not to lie, we'll never find that eternal happiness. I told you about how I feel, and you're here telling me about copying and pasting. So you prefer to continue lying, said Celia. Goodbye. And who say I'm lying to you? I presume you are able to read that screenshot I sent you, replied Celia. So you have one last chance. Apologise for lying, or the wedding is off. Then take care of that what you think, replied our deeply in love scammer. Goodbye, said Celia. I think even an illiterate fool like you can read that screenshot. I'm not lying to you, said our lying toad. And if you don't believe, then... Well, obviously you are, said Celia. Even you can't be that stupid. Or can you? Take care, he said. I told you I can use Google, but you still insist on lying. That takes a special kind of... You know what she's going to say, ladies and gentlemen. Idiot! I can't apologise for what I didn't do, he tried. A really stupid idiot, she said. And thanks for looking down on me this way. OK, if you don't call it copying and pasting, what do you call it? Plagiarism? Oh dear, I didn't realise I stole it. And finally the penny dropped, and our man read what she'd said. Why are you calling me name? He said. Celia continued. My mate claimed he wrote it himself. He told me she'd never know. Why am I calling you a stupid idiot? Because you're behaving like one. Oh, my God! Now I see you're trying to make fun out of this, he said. Remember, said Celia, we agreed you were going to behave like a mature army general, not like a lying, idiotic street kid. I don't need to try to make fun. You're the one acting like a stupid kid and lying. If I was the one calling you know how wound you feel, he said, proving that he couldn't write a sentence. So, replied Celia, for the avoidance of doubt, and she copied and pasted that screenshot twice. This is your final chance to be honest and apologise for lying. Why are you behaving rude, he said, and you have a count of 10 to apologise like a mature army general. Why are you lying? If you want to go away, you can go, he said. I don't beg to keep friend. The count of 10 for a proper apology, she said, and she did one of those infamous counts of 10. She got to 0 and said goodbye. Do whatever you feel like, he said. I don't keep rude and mannerly person as friend. OK, so goodbye. I don't keep lying idiot person as friend, replied Celia. Whatever you are the idiot who taught she know everything, and thanks for send that to me so that I can follow him and get to know more, he said. Try and make sense of that, but I guess he means that he's going to follow that person on Facebook so he can copy even more phrases. Yay! Doubtless that person on Facebook copied it from somewhere. And that's, he ended darkly, what is going to end your life. And right there is a good reason for trying to prevent vulnerable people from falling prey to these scammers. Obviously, I just think that's funny and childish, but I can quite understand that somebody vulnerable can find that very frightening. I hope you enjoyed this tale of one of life's copy and paste scammers. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.